Do you want to try something new with your email? Like, say, send out YouTube notifications, try a challenge, or even switch up the design a little bit, but you don't want your current subscribers to unsubscribe just because you made a change or tried something new. Well, today I'm going to teach you how to set up your Aweber account to opt people out of certain emails without having them unsubscribe altogether. So you can give them the option to try your challenge, to try your YouTube notifications, or you can give them the option to just receive your monthly newsletter. We're going to cover all of that today in the last day of our Automate One Thing challenge. In the description, I am going to add links to all of the previous demos if you want to get caught up, if you want to figure out how to set up those YouTube notifications. But today, we are going to set up this automation that should hopefully allow us to keep our list a little bit bigger, keep people engaged, and allow us to actually personalize the content to them. Offer new things to people who are looking for a little bit more from you, but allow the people who only really just want that one email from you per month to opt out of those new things without unsubscribing altogether. So we're going to dive into our account today, and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, here I am in my Aweber account. Now, there's something very interesting about this in that we are actually going to start this process by building a landing page. So I'm going to go in my account over to Pages and Forms, click on Landing Pages, and I'm going to create a landing page up here. Now, this page, the purpose of this page is to say goodbye to the people who have decided to unsubscribe from this particular type of email. So I want to keep it really simple, really to the point, not too pushy, allow them to opt back in if they would like. So I'm going to scroll down, and I really like this weirdly enough, confirmed opt-in template for this process. So I'm going to choose that template. I'm going to swap out my logo here for the logo that I have for this demo account. And I am going to actually delete these three steps and just keep this thing really simple here. Say, we're sorry to see you go. Now, I think I want to make this a little bit smaller, so I'm going to make this an H2 instead of an H1. So the purpose of this page is really to say, we understand that you have clicked and decided to opt out of these emails. People really need to get that confirmation to know that they have actually been unsubscribed. If they click and nothing happens, then maybe they'll try to click again. It's a little bit of a frustrating experience. So you want to let them know that you've heard them, they don't want to receive those emails anymore, and that you are going to allow them to opt out of those, but they're still going to be receiving the other emails. Now I'm going to say opt out auto newsletter here. And then, as always with our landing pages, don't forget to go to page settings and social sharing in order to give your page an actual title. So here I'm going to say goodbye from auto newsletters. And that's about it. I mean, we're not going to share this on social or anything, so it doesn't need to have a great meta description or anything like that. Just want to make sure that the title matches what somebody would expect to see in their website. So then I'm going to save and exit this, and I'm going to publish it. Click over here to publish it, and then the only thing I need to do now is copy that URL. So I'm going to copy that URL, open it up into a new tab to check to make sure it looks like I want it to look. We're sorry to see you go. Real simple page. And so that is the first step of this process. Okay, so we're back in our dashboard, and now we actually need to go over to the campaign that we want to allow people to opt out of. In this case, I'm doing this with an auto newsletter if you have one of those set up. If you don't have one of those set up, check in the show notes for a link to the demo on how to get one of those set up. But you could do this for anything. You could do it for a welcome series. You could do it for a challenge series. Anything that's an automated campaign, you can actually allow people to automatically opt out of. We're going to use some click automation here. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's go over to automations and campaigns. And I'm just going to go into my auto newsletter campaign. And I am going to do this on the only email in this campaign because there only is one that just gets sent with new content each time. But if you're doing this for a welcome series and you've got a series of maybe 5 or 6 emails going out, or even 10, I would actually add this to every single one of those emails, maybe in the footer, not too present or anything like that. So I'm going to click on this message, go over to the message, and now I have this wonderful little email set up, Tara's Healthy Eats. Check out the newest healthy recipes and advice from the Tara's Healthy Eats YouTube channel. And for the first couple of weeks at least that I'm sending out this weekly newsletter, I want to put this at the top. I want to allow people that I have opted into this email to immediately opt out. Hey, I didn't want to receive this. This is too many emails from you. I want to give them that option prominently. But once that's done, I'm actually going to bring a paragraph element down to the bottom here and allow people to opt out sort of once they've seen that opt-out option. I still want to give it to them. I just don't want to make it quite as prominent at the top. But at the very beginning, I am going to put it at the top. So I'm going to add a little section here that says, these emails come out every week on Thursdays. Don't want to receive them anymore. Click here to opt out. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is take this click here to opt out, and I am going to add a link to that landing page we made. So if I go over here to the landing page, I still have it open. I can take that URL, copy it, go back to my message, and I'm gonna paste it into this section here. And I'm just gonna click OK. And so that now says click here to opt out. So what this does right now is when somebody receives this email and they click here to opt out, they will be brought to that opt out page that we built for them. But that's not the only thing we need to do. So I'm gonna click save and exit. Okay, now we're gonna set up our actual automation. We have done all of the prep work that we needed to do. I've moved to the other side of the screen so that we can see what we're doing a little bit better. Make sure you're clicked on this email itself so that we can access this screen over here on the right. And then I'm gonna click Add Automation. Now, automations, for the most part, are set up in a way that if something happens, then another action is done. So we call those triggers and actions. So the trigger that we're gonna set up is if somebody clicks that link that we added in the email. They click the link to opt out and they're brought to that landing page. So I'm gonna go to clicks the link, and then I'm gonna select a link right here. And I don't wanna select the YouTube because that's actually them wanting to see the content that we're sending them. We only wanna select the link that's associated with that decision to opt out. So I'm gonna click that one, click apply. And then the action that we want to take is to actually remove the subscriber from the campaign. So I'm gonna say, then do this, remove some subscriber from campaign, and then click apply. And that is actually it. We have now just set up a quick automation to allow somebody to be removed from this campaign if they click that link in that email. Now remember, make sure you do that with every single email in your welcome series if you want to allow them to continue to opt out of those emails. But I'm going to take one more step because I want to make sure that in my Aweber account, I know that this person opted out. They made the decision to do that. Even if they stick around as a subscriber for months, years, even longer, I want to know that at some point they had made the decision to opt out of this campaign so that I don't accidentally just dump them back in and cause irritation. So I'm going to add one more automation. Go back over to add automation, choose the same trigger, clicks that link. But the action that I'm going to have them take is I'm actually going to give them a tag. And the tag that I'm going to give them is going to say something like opt out auto newsletter, right? Something that's really obvious. So that way, if that person clicks the link, they're not only unsubscribed from this campaign, they're given the tag opt out auto newsletter. So I'm going to apply that. And then I'm going to take this opt out auto newsletter, I'm going to copy it. And up here in the way that you start the campaign, I'm actually going to add that as an accept down here. So what's happening from here on out is that if anyone is given the tag YouTube newsletter, they will be put into this campaign, unless at some point in the past they have decided to opt out, in which case they won't receive this campaign at all. And it just gives you like a little bit of a backup to make sure you don't, if you continue to add tags to people, you don't keep putting them into the same campaigns that they've asked explicitly to be opted out of. And the campaign is active. So now anybody who receives that email and clicks opt out now is going to be opted out of these emails, but they'll still receive your newsletter. They'll still receive any of the other emails that you want to be sending out to them. And that is it. You have now set up an automation that can do a couple of things. It can help you personalize your content for your customers. It can help you keep your list bigger because people aren't unsubscribing because they don't like certain types of your emails. And you can provide more content to the people who really want it and actually build out your community more and even make more sales. Thank you all so much for joining me for this entire challenge. I really, really hope that you were able to automate one thing. Please share either in the comments of this video or in the Facebook community or anywhere on social at AWeber. If you were able to automate one thing for your business and what it was. Did you have some success with it? Do you feel like a little bit less stressed out? Are you building your list faster? Did you automate something completely different for your personal life? We want to know about it. Pop it in the comments and let us know. And I hope you have a wonderful September. We've got a